There are multiple barriers to poverty, even in Grand Rapids. And one of the barriers to poverty is access to food. Healthy and nutritious is just an additional barrier to that.
Mary Ann Prezashenko was the then principal at Strait School. She got Melanie, a 5-year-old girl, and she was looking for food to take home to her family. And Mary Ann saw her and asked her what she was doing. I had an inkling that there might be some childhood hunger, but not necessarily in Grand Rapids.
How does that look?
Good, thanks.
Okay.
When she told me, that was it. I knew that I had to do something about it. Yeah, I was 27 when the accident happened, and the car was crushed around me. When I was in the hospital, I had a lot of time to think. I decided that my disability would not define me. And so that's what I've done.
When I started at this school, academically, the kids were not succeeding. The issues of why the school was not performing where it needed to be wasn't because of necessarily the teachers or books. It really started with meeting the basic needs. We'd have kids who would just fall and they'd break an arm, break a leg. And it wasn't because they took a serious impact, it was because they didn't have proper nutrition.
Hey, you're okay.
Yeah, this is where Sax Lovers were born.
Yes.
It's been about 15 years since I've been here. And at the point that I met Mary Ann, they, at 3 schools, could identify 125 kids.
We didn't realize the issue was that big until you started bringing, and we started having children asking us, and we heard more and more stories. And
We knew it was the tip of the iceberg.
I think when you live in an area where your primary mode of transportation is either by foot or by city bus, you're just stuck with whatever is available. If you were to stand where I grew up and you were to walk in any length of distance from our house, you're not gonna find anything healthy or nutritious.
Wow. It really does look totally different. It was not this pretty back in the day.
I mean, even now, if you jump in your car and you drive up and down those streets, you're not gonna see anything that is not only giving you access to healthy and nutritious food, but even encouraging you to eat healthy and nutritious food. I remember on our way to school, we would stop at a gas station and we would buy Star Crunches and oatmeal cream pies because they were 25 cents. Now looking back, it makes sense why we ate the way that we did. We had a single mom who was trying to provide for 4 kids. And if you take $20 to any store, whether they give you access to fresh fruits and vegetables or not, your $20 is gonna go a lot further with 4 kids if you're buying bologna and Hot Pockets than it is grapes and fresh vegetables. It's just unfortunate.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. How are you?
Great. I'm so, oh, that's beautiful.
Being 22 years old and having a good deal of naivete
These decorated bags. This is my
coupled with a tremendous amount of idealism was a really perfect combination to begin a movement because we didn't really know the barriers that were in our way.
Every single one of these is a touch of love. So.
My typical day would be first thing in the morning, working with our volunteers, getting food together and made up into bags, repacking food items into single serving sizes, and getting sack suppers to schools. And then in the evenings, I'd work to figure out financial resources, to write grants, phone calls to volunteers for the next day. It took a tremendous amount of tenacity and a tremendous amount of grit. Yeah.
And one of our teachers was doing a home visit, and it was a family that was really struggling with poverty and really struggling with resources. And she noticed that her second grader, he had decorated bags taped up above his bed area or around where he slept. And they were taped all up on the wall, like rows of decorated bags. And she said, "Oh, those are your decorated bags. Why did you keep those?" And he said, "Because they're mine." And it's just a cool story about like how
we were receiving incredible feedback, and the data, both anecdotal as well as qualitative and quantitative data, proved we were making an impact. There's significantly less sicknesses in the classroom, less behavioral issues, and significantly higher test scores. That drove us to continue to grow. And we knew the only way we would be able to continue to scale to meet this need was to create an engine of volunteerism. After working on creating the foundation for a strong organization for about 5.5 years, the recession hit West Michigan. It was a really pivotal time in our growth and our sophistication as an organization, because there was very quickly an incredible increase in the need for the service that Kids Food Basket provides, and it stretched us. There were questions often, couldn't we serve more schools or serve more kids if we provided cheaper food? That's not the kind of food that our bodies and our brains are designed to eat. This became a non-negotiable for Kids Food Basket, that we would serve high quality, healthy food consistently. That required significantly more financial resources, and we learned, number one, how incredibly important it was that we had the community engagement to be able to scale and respond to needs. But number two, really deep strategy. Where are there opportunities to design around the needs of community rather than just responding to increases in numbers, so that we could consistently get better and do better for what we'd promised.
Well, welcome to our second community listening session. Now, I'm Robbie Savage, Engagement, Equity, Inclusion Director here at Kids
Listening was always important. It's always been a value at Kids Food Basket. And we had consistently pulled in this feedback really informally. But we knew that we needed to get more formal with our processes and our structures in order to continually evolve our programming.
So we don't have stores in our community. And then another hurt is, again, because it wasn't taught to teach how to cook healthy foods.
Oh, great.
Our listening sessions are a way to engage our community, to understand from them what they need. Kids Food Basket has been traditionally phenomenal at providing access to good, healthy food consistently. But what we learned was when our kiddos have access, but without the education around that healthy food, it doesn't make as much of an impact. When we teach our kids about how green beans and baby bell peppers help your brain and help you succeed in school, when they understand that, coupled with consistent access to good food every day, that's where the needle moves. It was clear that an agricultural program where we could connect our community to healthy food, learn about how to grow healthy food, was critical.
And then it happens again and again and again. How? It's because look how many seeds are inside of a pumpkin. How many seeds you think? But it starts out as one seed. Can I show you?
Kids are getting exposed to food. They're understanding that when a seed goes in the ground, that seed turns into a green bean. Sometimes they like to eat it raw, then we teach them what it's like to eat it when it's cooked. They understand that a cherry tomato comes from a vine, and that while it might not taste as great when it squishes in their mouth, they can chop it up, add salt and pepper, and make salsa.
Is that a rainbow?
The farm gave us a space and a place where we could grow healthy produce that will go right into sack suppers, healthy family food boxes, and to our community food distribution partners. All of our research and data collection has allowed us to understand the complexity of food insecurity on a much deeper level. Our mechanisms to respond to food insecurity, our program evolution, it's not a one-size-fits-all. The expansion into Muskegon came from scores of phone calls asking for Kids Food Basket to expand there. How will this model work in Muskegon? What sort of nuances can we respond to in Muskegon? After expanding and seeing that it worked, we also made the decision to expand into Ottawa County and then Allegan County because there's significant need there as well, and they're part of our West Michigan community. We need to be consistently piloting and flexible and vigilant to respond to what our community needs. How do we work on these complex food insecurity issues that not only ensure our kiddos and our families have food today, but ensure that we are breaking the cycles of generational poverty that lead to food insecurity, not just for our kids today, but for generations to come.
I don't think that people understand how complex it is, but I do think that people understand the importance of food. And I do think that they understand that if you're hungry, you can't think about anything else, and how important consistent nutrition is in our lives.
I know that my story is a lot different than most people. I also know that I'm pretty blessed and lucky to have the outcome that I do. You know, I mean, my story came full circle to where I was a recipient and now I serve on the board, which is unbelievable.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Most of the families that I grew up with, most of our neighborhood, I mean, they're right on the border, right? Where they're making ends meet, they're doing everything they can, they're working 2 jobs. Like, we're all doing our best to try and support our families. We just need a little bit of help.
Bottom line is, we don't all start from the same place. And Kids Food Basket answers the question, what can I do? This is a space and a place where our community can come together, nourish one another, show up for one another in service of love. Each and every decorated bag is a touch of love.